All right, we are in Pennsylvania right now at Ricketts Glen State Park, and we're going to be doing the Falls Trail, which goes down about, 18 different waterfalls?
So 18, I think there's 22 in the park and 18 falls associated.
Yeah, so 22 in the park and 18 along this trail. So there's a trail access right from the campground where we're staying, and I think it's going to be about 5 or 6 miles total today. So it should be nice. It starts out with a nice walking path. We have all our dogs with us today, and Emily. Just going to be doing some day hikes. We're actually headed up to Lake Placid in New York in the Adirondacks to do some hikes up there, just some day hikes up there. So it's going to be a cool week of kind of traveling, day hiking, and should be nice. So these are the falls that we're going to. We are right there, and it looks like we've got to go. There's a trail closure there, so we got to go around and up and then come back. So it looks like there was a rock slide sometime in the fall last year, and it's closed a section of where 4 of the falls are. So we'll make a trip down around, see them all, and then come back out on the other side. So the trail is marked with, it's nice and wide, and so they got ample signage. So it should be a good hike for us and the dogs. So we're headed back to the van. The hike was otherwise really, really nice. It's starting to rain, but just something for those that hike with dogs. You know, when you're out on the trail, you know, put your dog on a leash. And the reason for that is, one, it keeps them under control, but two, we just came across hiking back up the falls a couple that had a dog that was off the leash, and the dog charged us. You know, we were able to keep the dog off our dogs, but Emily fell and hurt her wrist. And there was a bunch of kids around, and they were all screaming. And this couple was just like they didn't even care. And it's just can be scary and frustrating place. to be. So have some decency and put your dog on a leash when you're hiking around trails and other people. All right, so that was Ricketts Glen State Park and the Falls Trail that took us all along the waterfalls outside of the park. It was a really great hike. About 6.3 miles, I think, total the way we went. We had initially intended to do the full loop, but because of the rock slides that had happened, part of the trail was closed, but the scenery was incredible. And the trails, for the most part, were awesome. And the waterfalls were really pretty. The only issue that we had was that one incident with the dog. That was just unfortunate. Dumb humans causing that problem. So the dogs are all worn out and exhausted, and we are on our way up to the Lake Placid area. So hope you enjoyed our hike today, and stay tuned. We're going to be in Lake Placid tonight, and we'll be there for the next couple days, kind of doing some hikes up in the Adirondacks. So this is Dan and Emily. We got Sam, Henry, and Luna is with us this time, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, good morning. We are just outside of Lake Placid, and we are headed up to Avalanche Lake today. So it's about a 12.5-mile hike, and we got in late last night from Pennsylvania. So the dogs were tired after the hike, and Emily's wrist is still painful from yesterday's fall. So the trails are quite different out here. So it's more like a traditional hiking trail through the woods routes. Single track trail for the most part, but we're staying at Hart Lake, where the Adirondack Mountain Club is. So it's a huge campground. It's packed full of people and hikers. It's a primary hiking destination for folks. So they base camp, and then the high peaks are all around us. So there's tons and tons of hiking out here, depending on where you want to go. So Avalanche Lake is supposed to be super pretty. There's Emily and the rest of the dogs. So it should be a good day. All right, so we crossed the river instead of walking around. There's plenty of rock hopping you can do. Met a nice group of folks from Philly. They're up here with their kids, and you enter a camping section where there's lots of dispersed campsites that are marked, and there's camping all the way from here all the way up to the lake. And so if you're hiking in and you want to camp, there's plenty of spots. There's also spur trails that go to one of the high peaks that's out here. So the trail, once you cross the stream, is really bouldery. So you got to be cognizant of your foot's placement. There's a little tricky spot. They made a ladder for you to go up, but there's a walk around for the dogs too. Come on, Luna.
Luna, come on. You got it.
Come on, girl.
Come on.
Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
You got it.
Dogs can climb ladders too. Come through a bunch of bogs once it levels out and you get to basically this huge rock face. You want to stay right there and I'll... All right, I think this is the end of the trail for us. We're not gonna be able to get the dogs up that, and there's a couple others past here. So I think we're just gonna have a snack by the lake and then make our way back. This is what ridiculousness looks like. Tots can't take it.
Oh, hike with your dogs. You gotta be prepared. He'll be good once we get down past the creek.
All right, so that was Avalanche
Pass.
Pass to Avalanche Lake. We were 9.5 miles out and back. We got to the point like where I showed you in the video where we hit that ladder, and it was just going to be too much for the dogs anyway, and they've had a long day. So it was a great day of hiking, and it was a good trail. We got to see lots of cool things, and the lake, it was awesome.
Lake is really pretty.
So
It was good.
highly recommend it. It's a little tough on dogs, so just be aware of that. There's a lot of bouldering, so if your dog isn't as agile as you are, you might want to be cognizant of that.
But the dogs love the bogs.
They did. They had fun playing in the mud. So. So we got done hiking for a couple days and came into Lake Placid, and we're just kind of taking the dogs around Mirror Lake. So it's really pretty out here. The trail that's supposed to go around a lake, we thought was a trail, but it's actually just a sidewalk along the road. All right, so our trip around Lake Placid was interesting. Beautiful homes. It's got a small kind of downtown area that's pretty cool. The draw, I guess, is the Olympics and the Olympic Village and all the Olympic history stuff that exists there. So it was nice, to walk around and get out, and the shops are kind of cool, but it wasn't, it's kind of underwhelming, I guess. So we moved to our next spot, which is at Buck Pond State Campground. It's just outside Saranac Lake in Lake Placid. It's nice and quiet here, so we wanted to get away from where we've been, where it's just been really hectic and lots of people. The Adirondack Mountain Club area is great for hiking, but there's a lot of people there, so we never really had a chance just to have some quiet, relaxed time. So we moved up here and going to spend the night here, and then we head back, start making our way back to Virginia. So we did get a chance to pull out the Solo Stove. So that's the Solo Stove Ranger, and we got the pellet plate for it so that we can use pellets. Sam is chilling. Moon is digging. Part of what makes it smoke free is you can see how it's reburning all of the air around it. So all the gas that comes off gets reburned from the exterior as it pulls air in, and it's nice and clean flames. So the Ranger is nice because it's smokeless, and then the pellets, it's cheap. A 40-pound bag at Lowe's is $7, and it's just a nice, easy way to have a nice campfire. It produces clean heat, and it's, I think, better for the environment because it doesn't really produce all the smoke, and it relatively little ash for what it does. So it's nice to just be able to take our own fire pit. We don't have to worry about sourcing firewood locally. Just know if you're camping at any of the state parks in New York City, just know if you're camping at any of the state parks in New York and you have animals, you have to have their rabies certificates with them right now. So just keep that in the back of your mind to have them printed off, or at least have a digital copy that you can show the Park Service people when you check in. Well, we got some unexpected rain that started last night about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we decided to pack up and leave our campsite. One of the beauties of the van versus some of the other off-road adventures that we've done is that it took us literally like 20 minutes to get packed up and the van secured to go, and we didn't get wet.
Well, most of that time was rinsing off dog paws.
Yeah, so rain is challenging with dogs, especially when you have a Sheltie that is got a lot of fur, and but it, one of the beauties of the van is that we're a self-contained unit, and so we got up real early, came back to Lake Placid, had coffee at a coffee shop that kind of overlooked the lake, which was super cool.
We saw a loon.
The actual bird type of loon. And got to walk around, so it was nice. And I think this kind of wrap up our trip. We're headed back to Virginia. We're going to stay at some state park probably between here and Harrisonburg and tonight, and then make our way back home. So it's been a great week of hiking and just having some alone time, but also seeing a new place. Both of us have never been up this way, so it's been really nice, and we brought all the dogs and they had a great time.
It's a beautiful area.
It is. So this is Dan,
Emily,
we have Sam, Luna, and Henry, and we're Rambling Ambition, and we'll see you next time we go on a trip.